From the studios of the Performance Motorsports Network, bringing you the fastest 60 minutes in racing. It's Burning Rubber Radio.
Burning rubber, baby.
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 Burning rubber, baby. Burning rubber, baby.
Now, here are your hosts.
I know what the tradition is. You don't even have to explain it. And here it is. Burning rubber, baby.
Yeah, burning rubber, baby. Let me tell you what, burning rubber, baby sounds a lot better than boogity, boogity, boogity. I'm Andy DeLay. Welcome to Burning Rubber Radio. We're about ready to get going here, put some nitrous on things and get on down the road. I'm here with a great cast of Burning Rubber Radio. Like always, I've got my good buddy, Mr. Dirty Dan Smith. How you doing, Dirty?
What's up, man? It's been a rough weekend. Peyton gets beat. My Gators get beat. I don't know what to do, man.
You put down the moonshine, buddy.
Well, Dan, you know, sometimes you got to get used to getting the beating like Andy does.
Or put the beating on somebody to win a race, right?
No, he's just used to beating.
Oh.
Part of that closet deal, Mr. Milk.
Yeah, it must be something like that. Anyway, folks, we also, as you heard, we got the man with the long golden locks that hang down to about his ass. It's the one and only Charles Robinson. Mr. Milk, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Of course, I got to, sleep through. Had a good nap, matter of fact. It was about a 3-hour nap. That was the snooze cup. I'm sorry. Yeah, just hanging out this weekend, kind of watch a little bit on the racing side of it, and really didn't see much exciting going on except for Jamie Mack winning. That was pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's right. And, of course, our good buddy Justin Lofton got flown out in his wreck this weekend, and it's all right. Justin only broke his thumb, tried to grab the steering wheel during the wreck. Anyway, we got Emily Gotti with this little Miss Dangerous. How are you?
I'm great. I got my new iRacing steering wheel, and I'm ready to crash with you guys.
Yeah, we're going to be talking. Yeah, we will be talking about that a little bit here in the iRacing segment. Of course, turning the knobs back there is Mr. Bob Steele. Hey.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. Hey, what's happening?
Yeah, not much, buddy. I'm ready to do some Burning Rubber Radio here. We got a great lineup for you tonight. We have the one and only Red Farmer. We're going to go old school tonight, talk with Red. And, of course, Dan, you got someone lined up from the grassroots, right?
Yeah, we got a young gun coming up in the grassroots. Mr. Tyler Courtney's on the show with us tonight. Sunshine.
All right, this ought to be good. Well, folks, you know what it's time to do? It's time to jump on in and tighten up those belts because we're fixing to go burning rubber, baby. We'll be right back with a little more after this.
Some statistics are surprising, some are unbelievable, and some are simply unacceptable. Right now, nearly 30% of U.S. students aren't finishing high school. Nearly 30%. And that's the average. In many places, it's even higher than that. And fixing it is a responsibility that we all share. This is President Obama, and I urge everyone, not just parents, but friends and neighbors and family members, to take responsibility for encouraging the high school students in your communities, to support them, challenge them, push them a little, and do whatever it takes to help them make it through. Because this is one statistic we simply can't afford to ignore.
You can do your part by going to boostup.org and sending an email, a text message, or even a wake-up call to a student at risk of dropping out. Go to boostup.org and provide the boost that's needed to make it to graduation. A message from the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
Everyone has a cell phone, and everyone pays for cell service, right? Wrong. Life Mobile offers you a way to get free, unlimited calling, text, and internet with up to and including 4G speeds through your favorite carrier, FREE. That's free forever. With Life Mobile, when you refer 3 of your friends, your service becomes free. Help your friends get 3 and theirs becomes free. Hurry on over to the number 3, makeitfree.com. That's 3makeitfree.com. Learn how easy it is to never see a cell phone bill again. Go to www.3makeitfree.com and get started now. That's 3makeitfree.com. Life Mobile. Life made easy.
You're listening to Burning Rubber Radio. And now a former law enforcement officer guy that has a faster draw than Sheriff Quick Draw McGraw.
Arriba, arriba, tostada sombrero, enchilada tortillas, my man.
At least that's what all of his ex-girlfriends told us.
Not only that, but you're a big bully, too.
Andy DeLay and the crew.
Okay. Like I said, I got my new iRacing gear here, I guess, but someone's got to teach me how to use it.
I like how Emily kind of sidesteps that wonderful comeback. Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, that's right. Andy, if a marathon was a minute, you'd be the man.
All right. Anyway, welcome back to Burning Rubber Radio. Let's get this right on track. Emily, you are right. iRacing.com. Want to thank iRacing.com for staying on board here with Burning Rubber Radio as we move forward. Got some neat new gear that we're going to be wearing here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. It's got some iRacing stuff on that. But talking about iRacing itself, our newest free member is Emily Gade. Tell me about it, Ems. Have you got on the sim yet?
Oh, yeah, I got on, and the only thing I could figure out was how to test, and I just did a bunch of crashing, and that was about it. So that dang ghost car gets in my way sometimes. I don't know.
Hey, Emily, listen, what you got to do is turn the ghost car off and then get with actually some people that know something about it. See, I asked Andy for a month to give me his steering wheel settings, and he never would because he knew I'd hand him something every time we got out there. But I read a lot of forums, and that's one good thing about iRacing, folks. If you've got a question, if you've got a problem, you can go to the iRacing forums, and I'm telling you, you'll find setups, you'll find how to run, replays, you'll find everything. I just discovered that, matter of fact, yesterday since my supercomputer's back up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I found some good setups, and I'll just give a quick story, folks. I don't want to bore you to death, but Brands Hatch is the next kind of track I have to run to move from a D to a C. Well, guess what? I get out there, and I'm racing a bunch of guys from Europe, that all they do is road course racing. They don't know nothing about ovals. And I basically got it handed to me, and I wrecked on like the second lap, spent most of it in the pits. My iRatings went down to crap. It's basically down like 1,100 for road courses.
Ooh.
Now I'm a road course racer. Now, everybody knows that. And I got mad, and I said, I'm going to read some forums. I'm telling you what, folks, get on iRacing forums. You can find setups. And I'm telling you, they work great. The steering wheel settings, perfect. I went out there, and I trimmed 10 seconds off of my laps at Brands Hatch. So a lot of you out there don't maybe know what that is or Brands Hatch or what did he say? Hey, listen, you need to go check it out with iRacing. Definitely.
Yeah, it sounds like I need to hit that up because I am at a loss right now.
Yeah, well, we'll get you set up. I didn't share anything with Charles over there because he likes to run this big suck over there about how he likes to whoop my ass. And I'm the one that usually shows him around the track until he dumps me. And then...
Wow. The thing about it is, Andy, I've got replays from all the N2003 races that I ever ran with you. And if anybody wants to look at those, hey, just let me know. I can send you clips, show you what it's all about.
I got some back up, Mr. Milk, that back those clips up. We got plenty of clips of how the Swami drives out there on the track. I'll promise you that.
I do like to put the bumper on someone that won't get the hell out of my way, Dan. And I'm sorry that I've done that to you once or twice, but you know how it is. Just trying to rattle your cage, buddy.
Rattle your cage. I'll rattle you.
Now, yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Dan. But of course, Dan's got that little speck on his bumper, man, that I cannot stand. Just rub it off. It's like Andy. He always had that on his bumper. It's like, you just really, you can't polish the car before you get on the track. I mean, I put this little rag on the front of my cars when I go out there, and that way I can just rub it off.
Yeah, the only thing is folks out there are talking about iRacing, and old Milkster and I have been out there iRacing since I guess it's about 99 or 2000 or something like that, buddy.
No, it's been a long time.
Yeah, man. And we've seen this thing come along, and now NASCAR actually sanctions a body, and they have a brand new winner. We'll bring that to you next week. We're going to have them on the show, who just won their World Cup, $10,000 prize. Gets a real NASCAR champions ring, and we'll meet him at Homestead and have him on the radio. So
awesome.
Definitely going to be some cool stuff. So we saw it just go from really nothing, Charles, and the place to be was the Dirty Mo Posse. I don't know if you remember that, where Dale Jr. running that stuff.
Well, I tried to kick that out of my memory. Anything that's got Junior in the letters, it just really anyway. But I'm telling you what, folks, you got to run this sim. You know, we keep preaching this. You know, they're a sponsor, but I'm telling you, folks, the tracks, the cars, everything is so realistic. And the good thing is, it don't cost you millions of dollars to do it.
Nope, $12 a month, and you can do it for free. Just go to the Burning Rubber Radio Facebook page and tell us that you want to go iRacing. If you're not already an iRacer, we'll give you three free months. Try saying that real quick. Anyway, folks, we got to back out of here and do our commercial thing here. So, anyway, Bob, cue up the commercials here. We're going to break and be right back with Tyler. What's his name? Dan, I don't want to mess it up.
Sunshine Tyler Courtney.
Tyler Courtney, that's right. Be back with a little more Burning Rubber Radio after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, your wait is over. Finally, hot rodding has come home to the hub of motorsports, Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm Redline Ryan.
And I'm the Tasman.
And we are Cruise Control Extreme. Cruise Control Extreme, Fridays at 7:30. Go to cruisecontroltv.com for a channel near you. Cruise Control Extreme, Charlotte's original hot rod show.
This is where it happens, where talent is tested, where five-time champion Jimmy Johnson claimed his titles, where determination took Tony Stewart from the back of the pack to center stage, where young Brad Keselowski became a household name, and it's where domination defines what you're called. Champ. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Championship Ford EcoBoost 400 November 17th. Call 866-409-RACE or go to HomesteadMiamiSpeedway.com for tickets. See who gets called champ. Next.
Back to the team that taught the Stig how to drive competitively.
Yeah, we taught the Stig how to drive, and that is Charles Robinson, Dirty Dan Smith, Emily Gotti, and Bob Steele. I'm Andy DeLay. We are back with Burning Rubber Radio. Dan, take it, buddy.
All right, man. I guess we're going to talk to Mr. Sunshine, Tyler Courtney. How you doing tonight, brother?
I'm pretty good. How are you guys?
We're fired up here, man. We're eating pizza, passing moonshine around, talking iRacing, doing all kinds of cool stuff. But you done something even cooler a few weeks ago that we're going to talk about. But first of all, get out there who you are, what you're about, where you're from, and what you race.
Well, I'm Tyler Courtney from Indianapolis, Indiana. I race sprint cars, midgets, really. Anything that somebody would put me into, and I love racing, and I've been doing it since I was 6 years old, and it's just been a part of my life.
Now, you've had a chance to run against some names, and we're going to talk about that in the mini sprints and out there at the Tulsa Shootout, and we're going to talk about that this evening. But there's one thing I want to get out at Atomic Raceway a couple weeks ago. I come over to see you, and we got rained out, never got a chance to run. And you were over there with Danny Smith racing, but the very next week, the racing got on, the weather cooperated, and you went out, and it's either the first or the second time you ever been in a 410 wing sprint car, and you put the damn thing in victory lane and put a W on the board. Tell me all about it, man.
Yeah, it was my second time driving the 410 wing. I've been running all year with the USAC guys with the non-wing stuff. But, yeah, I mean, Danny gave me a call at the end of September and asked me if I wanted to come race the first couple weekends of September with him. And we got rained out that first weekend, and then we went to Lincoln, Illinois on the Friday night the next week, and we ran fifth with the MOA guys. And then we came back to Chillicothe and ran at Atomic and pulled out a win. It was definitely a very big surprise to myself and Danny and everyone there that was there with us. We exceeded our expectations tremendously.
Now, you know what? I'm going to have to throw up the BS flag on that, Sunshine. It's not what didn't come as a surprise, brother. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that talk about you, and you're the next guy, the next young gun to watch coming up out of the dirt ranks. And I mean, it's a lot of respectable people that's saying that. We can go back to, like I said, we'll talk about the Tulsa Shootout and what you do out there, and Chris Bell racing against him, and Larson and these cats, and of course all the USAC guys you run against. But I don't think it's that big a surprise, Sunshine, that you went over there and won like that, man. I mean, you pulled out what was that? The Patriot 100 at LPS. What was that last year that you pulled that win out? I think that was the all-nighter deal, wasn't it? That finally got off.
Yeah, that was 24 hours of Putnamville.
Now what's your preference, man? I know you run a lot of the non-wing stuff, and of course, this is something I always ask the sprint car guys. You like running with that rain flap on the roof of the car, or do you like all natural?
They're two different animals. I'm favoring the wing stuff right now, obviously, because I ran good in it. But the non-wing stuff, it's hard not to love it because it's fun. It's just it's a whole different animal compared to the wing stuff. They're two different kinds of fun.
Which one do you prefer? Wherever there's an open
I'm going to
seat?
say I'm 50-50. Whichever one I can race at the time.
I have to go with that. Now, I've made mention it a few times here. You've really run against some big names out there in Tulsa at the shootout. Donnie Ray, of course, was a friend of yours that kind of had some influence on you, and Chris Bell. What's it like running out in the shootout?
It's awesome. It's definitely I would say it's like Chili Bowl, but I'd be lying. It's a completely different atmosphere. You're with a completely different bunch of guys, but it's very fun. You gotta be on your game every time you're on the track. You gotta be passing cars every time you're on the track. You just gotta be at the top of your game when you go down there. If you don't, you're behind the 8 ball. It's definitely an experience.
Now, Tyler, I gotta ask you, how did you get your nickname Sunshine?
I ran for Brian Clausen in the 2011 Chili Bowl, and I'd worked for him the previous summer, and they started calling me Sunshine from the movie Remember the Titans. And I showed up to Chili Bowl, and they had put Sunshine on my name visor, and it stuck. Everybody was just, who is this Sunshine? And it stuck from there. So that's how I got it.
That's a very cute nickname. Are you looking to get rid of that one, or are you happy with it?
Well, I've had it for the last almost 3 years now, so I've kind of taken it and ran with it. You just gotta it might not be the best nickname, but you gotta embrace it. Everyone knows me by it, and you just gotta take it.
Yeah, you're a good sport about it. I could get used to it. That's funny. Now, you mentioned that you raced down at the Chili Bowl. What was that like?
Chili Bowl's, there's nothing else like it. Chili Bowl's one of the best experiences you could ever have in a race car. You're racing against 220 of the best guys, not only in open wheel racing, but in everything. You got guys coming from all over to race it. And like I've heard guys, and you got Tony Stewart that comes back every year just to run the Chili Bowl. There's guys from every type of sport. There's Brian Deegan who runs Traxxas torque trucks, off-road trucks. You got everybody.
Yeah, that's definitely a cool deal. And some of actually pretty much all the best drivers in the United States, they go there and compete in that. So that's really cool that you get to go down there and share that with them. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your Rookie of the Year you got in 2012?
In what, the sprint cars?
The Harf?
Harf. I started running a sprint car at the end of 2012. I started July 31st. That was my first race, and we ended up running pretty good. I exceeded my expectations once again. We were able to win a consolation feature, and had a couple top 5s, top 10s, and the people at Harf took a noticing to it, and I was fortunate enough to be nominated as the Billy Marvel Jr. Harf Rookie of the Year, and it was definitely a very cool award to receive.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely an honor, so that's really cool that you got that. Now, a little birdie told me that you got to run a pit board at Indy.
I did. I got to.
What was that like?
Last, not this past one, but the one before that. My mom works for Sam Schmidt, and I got to work the pit board at Indy for Townsendville. And when you got guys coming 4 wide at you, going 200 plus miles an hour, it's very cool. Even though I'd rather be driving it, being that close to those guys is pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, now let's ask the big question. You know, of course, you're running a lot of dirt. What are your aspirations? Do you want to step up into pavement? Do you want to stick in dirt a little while? I mean, tell us what direction you'd like to go.
My ultimate goal is either Indy or being down in NASCAR land in North Carolina. But if that doesn't happen, I'd just be happy racing anything, anywhere on the weekends, doing what I love. I mean, racing is in my blood, and it's something I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Even if my racing career doesn't take off, I'd love to step down and be a crew chief or something like that, to that nature.
Okay, well now, you know, talking about being a crew chief and things like that, I mean, that's great and all, but, you know, of course, most aspirations are to move up to the NASCAR level and things like that. I mean, have you got guys talking to you? I mean, you know, if you're the thing moving up and people's talking about you, you know, you might be the next slice bread. We can't call you that. We can call you like wheat bread or something. But, I mean, you know, have you got guys talking to you, maybe thinking of stepping into something else?
No, not really, not yet. I mean, hopefully, I think I still gotta prove myself. I gotta get out of my own stuff in the sprint car side and kind of get out there and start winning more races. You got to be noticed. You got to win. To win, you got to win championships, and that's what team owners want. So you gotta prove yourself.
Well, I know one thing we can call Charles. We can call him stale bread. I had to say that one. Anyway, have you ever been out on the pavement? Done any pavement racing?
I started out in quarter midgets, and that's about as close to the pavement side as I got. Once we got out of quarter midgets, we went into the 600s and never really went back. So, but there's guys like Chris Bell and Kyle Larson that made it look pretty easy. So I got good hope that if I ever got in the pavement side, I might be able to take to it pretty easy. I don't like being cocky like that, but they've made it look pretty dang easy.
Yeah. What was the biggest difference that you had to get used to, I guess, going from, you know, like your smaller cars, like your micros or minis, to up to 410?
Just the pure power. I mean, you're going from 180 horsepower to over 800, so it's a big difference.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure that it's still hard to get used to.
Yeah, you got to figure out how to get that power to the ground. It's definitely a different experience.
Yeah, well, you seem like you know what you're doing. So we're getting ready to close the show here. Well, I guess close your segment. Do you want to just give a shout out to your sponsors who helps you pay the bills?
Yeah, Kyle with All Pro Auto Reconditioning. He's one of the big reasons I've been able to do the sprint car side of my career, and without him, I really wouldn't be here on the show with you guys tonight. And then obviously Danny Smith for giving me a chance and running his sprint car. And then I have to thank Willie Kane with Factory Kane for hooking me up with shocks this year and giving me the best stuff out there. And Miss Jeannie Butler with Butler Built Seats. She's one of the best ladies in the sport.
Cool. Okay, well, before you leave, we got to hear the three most famous words in racing here. Burning rubber, baby.
Burning rubber, baby.
Come on. Got to be more enthusiastic.
I'm in a restaurant, so it's hard to be.
Hey, neighbors won't mind, man. Go ahead and yell it. You know, they won't care. You know, they think it's dedicated like we are.
I'm a pretty shy person.
That's good. I think you did the right thing, man. Don't let them lead you down the wrong path, brother.
Well, just when you walk out the door, make sure you yell it really loud in the parking lot. How's that?
I can do that. I can do that.
All right. Well, we're going to go to break, and we'll be back in a minute with Burning Rubber.
All right. Thank you, guys.
This entire piece of music was played with only two instruments, a right hand and a left hand. Hands can do incredible things, but nothing compares to using them to help save a life with hands-only CPR. If an adult suddenly collapses, call 911 then push hard and fast in the center of their chest until help arrives. Hands-only CPR is recommended by the American Heart Association, and it's incredibly easy and effective. Find out more about this latest method of CPR at handsonlycpr.org. The power to help save a life is in your hands. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
The Performance Motorsports Network is in the pits. The Performance Motorsports Network is the doghouse. The Performance Motorsports Network is the best cruising music on the internet. Tell your friends about it. The Performance Motorsports Network. You can call us at 717-749-0444 or send us an email, performancemotorsportsnet@yahoo.com. That's performancemotorsportsnet@yahoo.com. Be looking for phone apps, our Facebook page, and our Twitter page coming up soon. Performance Motorsports Network, your source for motorsport.
Now, back to the guy that has such a way with pets, he has the ASPCA asking questions. Well, now I'm concerned, too. Andy DeLay and the Burning Rubber Radio crew.
And we are back, folks. And I tell you what, when we talk back, a lot of people don't understand that emphasis. You know, of course, with Andy DeLay, he's the only man walking around that has to have a backup beeper.
Yep, but at least I ain't got hair on my back like you, Charles. Folks, we are definitely going to go back and we're going to go do some Alabama gang stuff here. We have the one and only Red Farmer with us. How you doing, Red?
Fairly good. Just resting up on the weekend.
Yeah, I take it you had one of them rough weekends out at Talladega this past weekend, huh?
Yeah, we're down to Talladega, the dirt cars, Friday and Saturday night. It's always, we always run the Friday and Saturday during the 500s at Talladega. That's a big week up here.
We know, Mr. Farmer, I've got to speak for myself. I have camped right beside that track, and it seems like that all you hear all night long is guys racing at that track.
Yep. That's one of the finest little short tracks in the country around there at Talladega. I'll tell you what, they call it the Hornet's Nest. So.
There's no doubt about that because, all I heard was wah for about probably 3 laps and then all of a sudden quiet. Then it would run, then quiet. It'd do that to about 5 o'clock in the morning. So you guys must run that all night long.
Well, I left there about midnight, I think, so 11:30, 12 o'clock. But they still had 2 or 3 other classes to run, so they could have. They still run the pony stocks and the street stocks and thunder cars and all that stuff after they run the super late models, the crates, and the sportsmen. So they still had probably 3 or 4 features after we left, so it could have been that time, So
yeah, there's no doubt about that. Now, what kind of series do you run down there at that little short track?
Well, this weekend I didn't run. It's the first Talladega I missed. I got my car wrecked last weekend at Talladega running second with 2 laps to go in the lap car. Spun in front of me and slammed into me and turned me into the outside wall, and I've been up my car a little too much to be able to get it repaired this week. So I didn't run this week. The first Talladega 500 I probably missed in 15 years, but it just seems to happen that way. So, in fact, I had my car, I think, running the best it's ever ran last week, and that's when it happened. So kind of scares you. Get running. I won the heat race, was running second in the feature on a white flag lap and get wrecked. So.
Yeah, that sounds like us with iRacing.
We took my grandson's car, and I took another car for a buddy of mine named Luke Hoffner from Pennsylvania. He drove my super late model and in the car, and he had 11 fastest out of about 40-something cars with it, but we had transmission trouble before the feature, so we didn't get to run that one. But my grandson finished 4th in his feature, so that we had a pretty good time anyway.
Oh, no doubt, and that's what it's about. Now, of course, folks, if you're listening out there, a lot of times we interview these guys, and, of course, we've interviewed some legends in the past, but a lot of people don't realize we're talking to one of the top 50 all-time NASCAR drivers, Red Farmer. And now, Red, tell us a little bit about, kind of, I guess in the old days and stuff. We've talked to a lot of guys, James Hilton, stuff like that used to run back in the old days, where you grabbed a stock car, which meant you went to the dealership, you bought one, got one from a junkyard, you got it from wherever, you put it together, and you went and raced. Tell us a little bit about the good old days. What did you do? Did you figure out some kind of tricks to run?
We ran stock cars. They don't run stock cars anymore. the first race I ran NASCAR was 1953, which is 60 years ago, and I ran Daytona on the beach course in the Hudson that we took off the car lot. And when we went through inspection, if you'd had a radio in that car when it come to the factory, you had to have a radio in it. It had to be working. All the windows had to roll up. The radios had to work. The windshield wipers had to work. Headlights, everything. All we did was pretty well put some masking tape over the headlights and then put a strap around the doors so the doors wouldn't come open. And that was about it. That was stock cars.
Well, no, let me ask you something, Red. Did you listen to the radio while you was driving around the track?
No, but I tell you what, you're not going to believe this. Me and my mechanic drove it up to Miami. We didn't even have a trailer. I didn't even have a tow truck or a trailer. And we drove the car all the way up to Miami with our suitcases in the back seat and that toolbox in the trunk. And that's the way we got the car to Daytona. So that's how stock it was. So,
wow.
You know, we used to run the flying mile on the beach course. I was telling somebody I think it was 56 or somewhere in there, that they started 136 cars at Daytona on the beach race in the Sportsman Modified race. Everybody showed up. So I think it was 136 cars we started in that race on Daytona on the beach course. And you talk about how far NASCAR come. I remember when we got to go through inspection, we drove up the beach, went up on A1A and went into the Neptune. We drove our race car down, back up there about half a mile and went across, went up through one of the exits, got up on A1A, went in the Neptune Drive-In Theater, went into the entrance, turned left in front of the popcorn stand, concession stand in the middle of the drive-in, and the NASCAR officials come out of the popcorn stand and checked our cars, looked around on them, put a little something on the roof. We drove out, went through the exit, went back to the racetrack.
Wow. We got a lot of drivers that we talk to a lot of times about the old school stuff. Now, of course, you know, a lot of the younger drivers coming up don't understand what it meant to be driving a stock car. You know, just like I said, to go buy something, you know, take it to the track and race it. What do you think about the new generation stuff? I mean, you've been around it, you've seen the races and stuff like that. What do you think? Do you think NASCAR maybe ought to gear back towards maybe the stock stuff?
Well, I don't know. It just, to me, racing's always been to be able to be either a better driver, better mechanic, be able to set your car up a little bit better, and have the right camshaft and the right setup in the car to be able to go out there and outrun people. That's what made it interesting to me, was be able to try to build a car in the backyard in the garage and go to the racetrack and run against 25 other cars. If you outrun them, then you felt the accomplishment because, you know, you did, like I say, a little backyard engineering here and there and a few little things to make the car a little bit better than somebody else. But they've pretty well taken that away from you now. And everybody's got the same cookie-cutter car that comes out of the same mold, same engine, same everything identical, and there's just no engineering or backyard engineering left in it anymore. They like I said, they tell you how much air you can have in the tires, and they're just to me they do a little too much. I don't know. I guess they're trying to eliminate it where back in when we raced, actually the factories got into it. If you didn't have a factory ride, you was pretty well out to lunch anyway. When the Ford and the Chryslers and everybody was battling each other through that way. So maybe they figured the same way, but it's pretty well ends up the same way. You got about 4 dominant teams out there that pretty well control the racing anyway. So it goes right back to the same deal. Who's got the most money and buy the most engineers and stuff. But right now you got a gray area you got to go to, and if you go over that gray area, they slap your hands pretty bad and spank you. So that's the only thing that I've got about, against NASCAR. They've got their reasons they're doing it. I guess they're trying to make sure they keep 40-something cars out there instead of 10 guys with a lot of money, and put a limit on it to where they can only do so much. But it has taken away some of the fun of racing. To me, that's the reason I guess maybe I still really enjoy my dirt track racing out there. We go out here and work on the cars, and in fact, I just pulled the engine out of one of my cars this afternoon and fiddle around with it, and get ready to make a few changes here and there and put it on the scales and change the spring and the height and something else like that. And then go back next Saturday and try to outrun somebody. Then you get kind of feeling of more of an accomplishment, because you've done something to outrun somebody. So
Well, now talk about a little bit about the money, Red. I mean, years ago, I understand, back in the day, of course, the dollar went farther, but, tell the people out there what kind of money was involved for you to take, for example, a stock car and do what little you had to do to it, and then go out there and race and win and have a good time.
Well, they spend more money on tires in one race than I probably spent the whole year.
Wow.
For every race that I run. I mean, you look at it now where, we run a set of tires and 4 or 5 races on the right rear, something like that, and then if we cut one, we'd sew it up with lacing wire, put a tube inside it, and run it some more. Now, every time the caution comes out, they put $2,000 worth of tires on, and they got a tire bill anywhere from sometimes $20,000 or more, $25,000, $30,000 for one race. That would be a couple of years of money for me back in the days when we raced. We had that much money. We run 2 or 3 years for they'd make them two pit stops. So,
wow,
it's ironic the way that the expenses got into racing nowadays. And I know when you go down there and watch some kind of maybe a test going on at the track, maybe a team like, let's say like Hendricks or Tony Stewart or anybody else, or Jack Rouse, and they comes in there with 2 or 3 cars at may say Talladega, getting ready for Daytona, and rent the track for 2 or 3 days, and you can look at there, and there's anywhere from 5 to 10 engineers sitting there with computers waiting. Every time they go out and make a lap, they got 10 or 12 engineers checking every little bump stop, every little, he can belch going down the back straightaway, and it registers, and and they know it. And they come in and tell you. I mean, it's just. I remember one time I was running a Robert Yates car, running the test for Daytona, Davy at Talladega, and they come in and said that I was lifting a little bit in the corner. I said, no, I've got it flat on the floorboard. I said, I ain't backed off that gas pedal since we went out of pit road on that thing. And they said, right at this one place every time, it looks like you lift a little. I said, no, I ain't lifting. He said, well, it drops about 100 RPM or something right there, just a little bit. And they kept arguing back and forth, and I kept telling them I wouldn't. And then they come to find out that what was happening, the firewall was flexing a little bit when I was hitting a bump or something. A dip in the racetrack was rough. And if I was to hit that dip, my foot would go up and down because the firewall was moving. So, I mean... it's just that little bit of a variation from the firewall flexing a little bit when they hit the bump was changed, and it registered on all their computers that it was changing 100 RPM at one particular spot, and that was just from the movement of the firewall doing it. So, I mean, they've got it so engineered down now that, it's kind of mind-boggling to watch some of that stuff that they do. So, the 7-post shaker system they got in there, that can simulate the racetrack they're fixed to go to next week, every little bump on it, and put it on that machine with 6, 8 engineers sit there behind the wall, and they start that thing out and go in and change all that stuff. That's the reason you see these cars, they back them out of the trailer and go out there and flat foot them the first lap. Man, we would never do that in the old days. We'd go out there, run half throttle the first lap, 3 corners next lap, and then ease into full throttle. So we didn't know what we was going to go in there and go straight through the wall or spin out. So we had to change some things. Now they're so engineered so good, they could put them on the floorboard the first lap to go out there and run. You watch Talladega, the first practice session, 20 cars pulled out of the pits, never been on the racetrack that day, and come around the next lap running 200 mile an hour bumper to bumper. Yep.
Wow.
That was unheard of years ago, doing something like that without warming the car up and checking it out, make sure that it's okay, comfortable before you got into it now. But I guess that's progress. I guess I'm old-fashioned. I've been racing 65 years, and I got a lot of old-fashioned ways, I guess, and think a lot of old-fashioned ways. But I still wouldn't take it, and they always ask me, say, hey, don't you wish you'd been born 10, 15 years ago, be making all that money they're making nowadays? I said, no, not really. I said, because I've got the feelings. I got to run against Fireball Roberts and Curtis Turner and Joe Whitley, Buck Baker and Lee Petty, and all those guys back from Ralph Moody back in the 50s and 60s, and Cotton Owens and Junior Johnson and Bobby Allison and all those guys. And So I got to race with some of the greats of NASCAR, the Flock brothers and all those guys, and those guys can't say that. They can't say they got to run against some of the old pioneers of the racing that started this, because it hadn't been for all those old guys back in the 50s and 60s like we ran, they wouldn't be running for that money like they're doing nowadays. So I guess the money's not everything anyway.
Well, no doubt, Red. And I tell you what, buddy, talking to you, because I mean, you're a legend in our minds. We saw you, we saw clips, we seen you back in the days, and it's one of them kind of things where Andy and I and Dan, and I know Emily could say the same thing, would wish we could go back and watch guys like you racing out there and show us what it's really about. But I tell you what, Red, it's been a wonderful interview, buddy, but we got to step out of here. We got to go talk to the NASCAR chef, our buddy. We appreciate you.
Okay.
We would love to have you on the show again. I mean, just some other time, just to spend a whole show talking to you about the old days. How cool would that be?
Okay. All right. Well, I hope I'm still on the green side of the grass.
There's no doubt, Red. We're thinking you'll probably be the one sowing the green grass. That's fine, buddy. We appreciate you on Burning Rubber Radio. And I tell you what, we got to talk to the big chef, John Dix, buddy.
Hey, John Dix, you with us?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, Burning Rubber, baby. We just got done talking to Red Farmer, brother. What a good time.
Yeah, I tell you what, he and I hung out together Friday, and man, I tell you what, I just get so honored every time I get to just share the same space with him.
Yeah, no doubt. So this past weekend, you got to cook for, of course, Stewart Haas Racing. I see that you even did some special stuff for Ryan Newman.
Yeah, Ryan brought me a venison roast and asked me to go to the house and cook it for him. So Saturday night I eased out of the track and eased back to the house and cooked that venison roast for him. And also Sunday got to hang out with Dale Inman. I tell you what, man, I just had a great weekend.
Wow, man, that is awesome, brother. So what you got for us tonight?
Well, guys, tonight we're going to do something a lot of fun that we can eat while we're watching the races or with the football coming up. We're going to do a spicy French dip.
Ooh, the French dip. Okay.
Yes, sir. Everybody ready? Got your pen and paper? We're going to start with one boneless beef sirloin tip roast, about 3 pounds. You want to cut it in half. And then we're going to use a half a cup of water, 1 can of diced jalapeno tomatoes, 1 envelope of Italian salad dressing mix, and you're going to get 12 crusty rolls. We're going to use that to put the meat on. What we're going to do, we're going to place the beef in a 5-quart slow cooker, okay? And in a small bowl, you want to combine the water, the jalapenos, the dressing, and then pour that over the beef and cook it on low for about 8 to 10 hours. And I tell you what, boy, it's going to be so tender. Then you want to remove it and from the water, and you're going to have a lot of good a jus sauce for that. You want to remove the beef and spread it around with a fork because it's going to be kind of hot, so you got to be careful. Then you want to skim the fat off the juices, okay? And then you want to put the beef on some buns and use the juice to dip it in, and that'll serve about 12 servings unless Andy and I get there first.
You know what, buddy? It won't be around for long, brother. I tell you what, John, thank you very much for hooking us up with Red Farmer. And, folks, if you want to check out John's recipe, you can go check it out on the Burning Rubber Radio Facebook page. That is if he gets around putting it up there. It ain't like he doesn't have anything else to do. And if you have a question for John, you can drop an email to burning.rubber@hotmail.com. So, folks, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to back out of here right now, take a break, and we'll be back with some more Burning Rubber Radio after this.
I'm so glad we left that stupid party.
No joke.
Hey, baby, are you an overdue library book? Because you got fine written all over you.
Oh, barf. What about that girl with the hoop earrings?
Ridiculous. When she was dancing...
Megan, look out! Look out!
Oh, my God, Becky. Becky, are you okay?
My arm. I think it's broken.
Can you bend it?
It's already bent. In the wrong direction.
I can't believe this. I'm so sorry. I only had a few drinks. I was just buzzed.
Really? Just buzzed?
Yeah, I swear.
Well, in that case, my arm is fine. Ah, that's better.
You're really okay? You're serious, Becky?
No, genius. I'm not serious. Ow! My arm, it hurts.
Buzzed driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal. Buzzed driving
is drunk driving. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Ad Council, and this station.
You're listening to the Performance Motorsports Network, your authority on motorsports of all types. Be listening for the most accurate and up-to-the-minute coverage of every motorsports activity that you enjoy on a daily basis. Be it NASCAR, be it IRL, be it Formula One, be it drag racing, be it dirt track, off-road, props, hulls, whatever. We are your source for motorsports. Performance Motorsports Network.
You're listening to Burning Rubber Radio. Now back to Andy DeLay and the crew that both the U-Car and the Chump Car series have banned for life.
Oh, that's right. Burning Rubber Radio is back. What a heck of a good show. Talking to the legends and the new guys all at once. And what we're going to do here, folks, it's time for the round table. But we got an announcement from a good old friend of the show. That's Larry Walls from the U-Car Clash. You got him all lined up over there, Bob?
Sure do. He's on the phone with you right now.
What's up, Andy?
Hey, nothing much, buddy. I hear you got something going on this weekend, and you wanted to tell us all about it, man. The show's all yours.
Well, it's next weekend. I believe Steve Sumlin's on the other line there with us, which has all the details, Andy. And as always, thank you guys so much for what you've done for the U-Car Clash in the past and just for motorsports in general. So it's at County Line Raceway, which is one of the leading dirt tracks in the state of North Carolina. It's not this weekend, but next weekend, November 2nd, for the Four-Cylinder National event. This will be a yearly thing that the track is... Okay, Steve, I'll let you take over from here and talk about your event.
All right, yeah, we're happy to host the inaugural Four-Cylinder Nationals at County Line Raceway, kind of a brainchild of myself and track owner Edward Upchurch. The Four Cylinders at County Line Raceway always put on a great show, and we felt that they were very deserving of their own big event. So we came up with the Four-Cylinder Nationals, where the super stock four cylinders are going to run for 50 laps for $4,000 to win. Our pure stock four-cylinder division going to go 25 laps for $1,250 to win. The Walls Roofing U-Car Nationals will be back this year for $500 to win 20 laps, and we're going to let them qualify, run a nice format for the guys, and we're also going to bring back the modified four-cylinders, or outlaw four-cylinders, if you will, the fast cars, and I think it's going to be a great show, getting a lot of response from all over the Mid-Atlantic.
That sounds awesome. And Larry, is your series, of course, is going to be there, right?
Yes, sir. The U-Cars will be there.
Well, I tell you what, Larry Walls, folks, tell everyone where they can go to check this out on the internet.
If I'm correct, you'll go to CountyLineSpeedway.com, and they can find out information to go to Facebook, County Line. It's the County Line Raceway Four-Cylinder Nationals webpage also on Facebook. So come in there and friend Steve, and he'll keep you up with everything. And coming up next year, Andy, I'd love to talk to you guys about maybe coming down and doing an MRN type event like you did for me for the U-Car Clash a couple of years ago.
Oh my gosh, that would be a good time. Charles and I had a blast doing that for you, Larry. We'd love to do that for you. And I tell you what, after the event, man, how about us checking back in with Larry Walls of the U-Car Clash, and you can tell us how things went. That sound good, bud?
Yes, sir. That sounds good. And hopefully in the future you can have Steve Sumlin back on with you as well, because they bring the world of outlaw late models and sprint cars into their track every year, and that'd be a great thing to cover.
That sounds great. Steve, thank you very much. Everybody, thank you, too, for both being with us here on Burning Rubber Radio. Folks, go out there and check that out and show up and support some of our grassroots stuff. Of course, Larry Walls has been with Burning Rubber Radio ever since. Good Lord, Larry, you're getting old. All right, well, we're back on here. We're going to be talking here about the round table. We had a lot of stuff going on this week. My good buddy and Charles' buddy, Justin Lofton, got involved in a wreck this weekend and tried to scare the hell out of me. I hear that he got flown out, or he went to the hospital anyway, and found out that he just had a broken thumb. Charles, what do you think of that?
Well, I think first off, he shouldn't have tried to grab the steering wheel when he was wrecking at Talladega. But of course, that's Justin for you, trying to grab something he just can't get a hold of.
I didn't say that, Justin. Yeah. Oh, my Lord. Anyway, also a great run for Scott Stenzel, who we had on last week. And Scott was running all the way up in the 6th place in that Mittler Brothers ride of his, and in the 63, and got caught up in some crap with Hornaday later, a little bit later in the race. But man, big thumbs up and shout out to Scott Stenzel. I'm glad that our buddy Justin Lofton didn't hurt too bad. And Charles, I'm looking forward for you, me, and Dan to see him at Homestead.
Oh, no doubt, man. I'm looking forward to that little trip myself. I mean, that's championship weekend. You know, that's Miami Homestead Speedway. You know, that's hanging out in the warm Florida sun and not this crazy Kentucky weather.
Yeah, exactly. Emily, we're going to have to take you to some of this stuff pretty soon, too.
I know, I'd love to go. It just depends on my school schedule. Like I said, it's like pulling teeth trying to get out of class at UNOH. So we'll see what I can do here. I'd love to go.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Dan, hey, you ready to go to Homestead?
I'm ready to go to Homestead, but I'm more excited to give a shout out to the Pickletown Hustler, Greggy Oliver, over there in Ohio, for picking up the Dirt Track World Championship win in the modifieds in a car he had never been in. First time, first night in that car, and he beat Devin Gilpin, Kenny Schrader, all the big dogs in the dirt modified ranks, man. So a huge shout out to Greg Oliver, the Pickletown Hustler.
That is some awesome stuff. And that's a hell of a name, the Pickletown Hustler. And we know that, you know, well, I ain't going to go there about you playing with pickles, Charles. But
I like pickles.
Anyway, hey, also, you know what the big news is? I know I said I was going to boycott cup racing for the rest of the season, but I'm going to go back on it here because, you know, Jimmy Johnson's in the point lead again, folks. You know, I called this at the beginning of the season. And
don't even bring that up.
Yeah. What do you got, Ems?
Oh, I just want to give a quick shout out to Chase Briscoe getting signed with Bill McNally, and he'll be running the K&N Pro Series West, and I know everybody here is really proud of him. So, way to go, Chase.
Yeah, Chase Briscoe, who, of course, we're following here on Burning Rubber Radio. It is huge, folks, to see somebody go from, local track racing. Of course, Chase is doing a great job running dirt, and now he started his NASCAR career. We followed, some folks like Joey Coulter, pretty much up from this first year in ARCA all the way up through here. Justin, of course, we've talked about Justin Lofton, and so a lot of other drivers. And Charles, man, it's pretty cool to watch this stuff happen, ain't it?
Oh, no doubt, man. To see the guys go from, the lower levels like the ARCA or the late models or whatever and move themselves up into the NASCAR, and they actually hang around with us. That's the main thing.
Yeah, exactly, man. We're going to get to hang around with Coulters down there at Homestead, Miami. If Dan doesn't embarrass us too badly, we're going to get to hang out with them, hopefully have them for dinner.
I don't have a good track record for that, but so you better watch out.
All right, folks, listen, we're going to get out of here and visit our sponsors. We'll be right back with some more Burning Rubber Radio after this.
Hey, what's up? Thinking about you. XOXOXO. 1, 2, snuggle, ... JK. Hit me back. You getting these texts? ? We should hang later. I miss you. Holla at ya, boy. Holla back. Holla back. Holla back. Are you at home? Where are you? What are you doing? OMG. You are making me mad. Are you with your ex? You better text me back. I'm waiting outside your house.
Relentless, aggressive texting is like sending an angry robot to deliver your message. When does the robot become dangerous? Let us know at that'snotcool.com.
That'snotcool.com.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Shopping around for your racing gear, driving from store to store only to find they don't have what you want? Barter's Racing Collectibles on Black Gap Road in Fayetteville, Pennsylvania has it all. The hottest NASCAR, IRL, and NHRA diecasts, t-shirts, jackets, flags, and more. Everything racing. Stop by or check out their website, www.partnersracing.com, or call 717-352-2782. You'll be surprised at the selection, prices, and friendly client service. UPS, FedEx, and USPS shipping available. Barner's Racing Collectibles, www.farnersracing.com or call 717-352-2787. Farners Racing Collectibles, where racing comes alive.
Automotive enthusiast, have you modified your ride and want to see how much horsepower it'll put down? Look for bragging rights amongst your buddies whether you're running big boost or a big block. RP Performance has your answer. Featuring a state-of-the-art two-wheel drive Dyno Dynamics chassis dyno, RP Performance can measure your current power or help tune your car for maximum power. And for you power junkies, want to drive a fully prepared race car flat out around one of the East Coast's finest road courses? RP Performance also offers race car rentals for all your track day events. Host your next corporate team building event with the need for speed. Gift certificates are available for dyno services and track car rental. RP Performance is located at Summit Point Raceway, just minutes from Winchester. Visit them online at rpperformanceracing.com or call 304-728-6749 for more information. RP Performance, your Mazda Street performance and racing specialist.
You're listening to Burning Rubber Radio. Now back to the guy that wrecked Andy Hillenberg's KNNE Series car at Charlotte Motor Speedway and lived to talk about it, and the crew that will never let him forget about it.
Wow, man. I can't believe I haven't heard that one yet, Bob. Oh, well, now that everyone knows that I wrecked Andy Hillenberg's car, Charles, relax. I know you were there to watch me do it, but man, anyway, I don't know what to say. We've had a great show here on Burning Rubber Radio. And Charles, you knocked it out of the park with Red Farmer, buddy.
I'll tell you what, I'd like to sit down like for hours and talk to this guy. I wish we had like a 4-hour show. I mean, he's a wealth of information talking about the old school. You know, a lot of the people watching NASCAR nowadays don't understand what a stock car is. They're used to seeing this pieced together IROC looking stuff. You know, everything's entered the same. Oh, it looks the same. Oh, it's got the same motor. It's got the same tires. That's not stock cars, guys.
Yeah, you're right, buddy. And don't ask Dan, because Dan likes growing potatoes in the dirt. But, man, that was a great interview too, Dan.
Sunshine's a good interview, man. We had a good time hanging out with him at Atomic when we got rained out over there. And we're going to hear a lot more from Tyler heading into next season. I do believe he's going to be another one of our 2014 Burning Rubber Radio grassroots featured drivers, along with Greggy Oliver at this point. And we're going to add a couple more to that for next season. Kind of follow him through like we done with Chase and Chris Bell. Of course, he'll still be one. Kind of like what we done with Larson and things like that.
Yeah, that's great stuff. And now, can I break the news that you just told me about here, brother? Or am I supposed to keep my mouth shut?
No.
All right, forget it. I don't. Forget that. Cut that out. Anyway, folks.
That's my ace in the hole, brother, for Homestead. That's my ace in the hole to get people to tune in for Homestead. Once we get closer, we'll start teasing it.
All right, that's right. Hey, folks, we also have some Burning Rubber Radio T-shirts in the making right now. I want to thank Rayanne Plumley, whose Cancer Foundation has also sponsored the T-shirts. We're going to be getting those to press and print pretty soon. If you're interested in a Burning Rubber Radio T-shirt and would like to see what we're going to be wearing at Homestead, just hit us up on the Burning Rubber Radio Facebook page. They're only $15 a piece, and you'll be supporting Rayanne's stuff because we're going to throw a few bucks for everything sold back to Rayanne's her Cancer Foundation and stuff. So, Ems, I tell you what, buddy, you did a good job tonight too. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. I love talking with you guys, especially Red. He was a really, like Charles, I'd like to sit down and just talk to him for hours. That was really good. He's a good guy.
Yep, that's right. And I tell you what, folks, I got the best team on radio right here. And Bob Steele, thanks a lot for turning the dials and doing all that good stuff you do back there. But it is that time again. We've talked for 60 minutes, and man, was it fast. Or either that or you're like, thank God it's done. Anyway, folks, Burning Rubber Radio, we'll be back with you next week. This is Andy DeLay telling everybody, Burning Rubber, baby! Woo!
Burning Rubber Radio is a copyrighted production of the Performance Motorsports Network.com, a division of the Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated. This program may not be rebroadcast, replicated, or saved in any media without the explicit permission of PMN. Check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/burning-rubber-radio, or go to the Performance Motorsports Network.com website and look for our landing page there. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect those of the management and ownership of either the Performance Motorsports Network or the Scorpion Radio Group, or those of our advertisers and marketing partners. Be listening next week as we munch through 4 or 5 large pieces, half the salad bar, and at least a case of chilled adult beverages.
Hey there!
Huh?
What about the guests and the motorsports coverage and all the other cool stuff they do?
Oh, yeah, well.
Now, come on now.
And they do one hell of a show.
Okay.
For Burning Rubber Radio, I'm Cougar Michael.
Burning rubber, baby!